Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has postponed the legislative Rerun election in Rivers State, initially slated for July the 30th.
The commission, in a statement signed by its secretary Augusta Ogaku, said the Rerun poll was postponed for the second time due to reports of violence and fatalities in some parts of the state. INEC insists it took the decision in order to ensure that voters, electoral personnel, observers and other stakeholders are protected during the fresh election.
Now, the postponement of the polls follow last Friday's fire at the INEC office in Kana local government area of the state. Now, no new date has been set for the polls yet. Right, joining us now is Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Rivers State, Chris Finebone, in our Port Harcourt studio. Chris, it's good to have you on TVC Breakfast now.
Thank you.
All right.
And thank you, viewers, for having me.
Okay. Now, everyone was looking forward to the election this Saturday, and we hear that it has been postponed. Can we have one of the reasons why, or the reasons why the postponement had to happen at this time when it's just about a few days to the elections originally?
Okay. Just like you got the news of the postponement, so the APC also got the news of the postponement. And as soon as we got the news yesterday, early yesterday, we had to go for the reasons adduced for the postponement. And I think we can't fault INEC so much, given that we are residents of Rivers State and we know all that has been happening. So it is for INEC to give reasons why they postponed the elections, and they have done so. We have looked at it, and as people who are on ground, we can't fault them much for postponing the Rerun elections.
Indeed, you cannot fault them much. But what do you make of a situation where Rivers State seems to have become some sort of political basket case, and you have this reruns now being postponed? What's really the way forward for Rivers State out of this political quagmire that just causes its violence crisis every day?
Well, in trying to explain that and to provide a way forward, we need to look back a little. It is unfortunate that what is happening in Rivers State today is happening. It does not represent who we are. This is the same state that produced, in fact, the old Rivers State that produced the likes of Melford Okilo, produced the likes of Chief Idamebi Brown, Ken Green, a whole lot of statesmen. Chief William Danjombo, all of them. And so it's not what we are. It's unfortunate and we are not happy about it. But for INEC to postpone the election, we believe them that they too have taken notice of the killings and violence that is being visited on the people. And that culminated first in the killing of electoral personnel, and then the bombing of the Bori INEC office last week. And so there has been this string of violence that has pervaded the state. And this is really the reason why today we are denied the opportunity to have our voices heard at the various levels of parliament and legislatures across the land.
Okay.
For us, the way forward is for us to, everybody, to sheath their sword. Those who make incendiary remarks that fire up their followers must have a rethink, and these leaders do so, and they know themselves. Definitely, their foot soldiers would sheath their sword and allow peace reign.
All right, Chris.
But a situation where political leaders
Chris
would climb the rostrum and begin to threaten everybody it doesn't augur well for peace.
All right, Chris, those who are watching the activities or the unfolding events from outside the state, we wonder why there is continuous tension in Rivers State, different from, or maybe peculiarly different from other parts of the country when it comes to, because during the governorship election last year, it was the same thing. A lot of people died, a lot of tensions from within the political parties in there. Why do we have that kind of peculiar or unique, if I have to use the word unique, as a political circumstance or terrain in Rivers State?
Well, I will resist the urge to name names, but I believe that as watchers of the political terrain, you too have taken notice that remarks that come from the #1 citizen of this state, Chief Nyesom Wike, has not helped matters. We would have preferred that he dropped the toga of a hardcore political leader of a political party and assume an all-encompassing embrace style that would have helped him tone down his rhetoric. And somehow, INEC mentioned the fiery rhetorics that characterize our politics. And people, cursory onlookers, know where INEC is pointing at. And so we expected that the governor would tone down his rhetoric, be a bit magnanimous, and the followers will follow suit. You see, followers watch the body language and utterances of their leaders, and oftentimes they overreach themselves. I do not believe that the #1 citizen will tell people to go and kill, but you could speak in a way that could fire up people, and they believe that the best way to make you happy is to kill for you. And so let those who make incendiary remarks tone down their rhetorics. Incidentally, INEC mentioned it as one of the issues that fires up violence in Rivers State. If they do that, we will have a more peaceful Rivers State. The type of Rivers State we all grew up to find, when politics was a thing of joy. I mean, people freely mixed. I come from a community where we had chieftaincy tussle, and for 23 years, not one person, no matter how errant, raised his hand against the other. And after 23 years, my community had, we were able to have our ruler installed. And
all right, let me...
we pride in it. So children who come after us.
Let me come in here. You did say earlier that the violence and all the crisis going on in Rivers State is not a true reflection of who you are as a people. You mentioned people like Melford Okilo, who, you know, blazed the trail when it comes to how politics should be played. So what exactly do you think has gone wrong? I mean, when you say the chief executive of Rivers State, his body language and the kind of language he uses, you know, sends the wrong signals to his followers. I mean, you would agree that both parties, all, you know, the political gladiators on both sides, whether the APC or the PDP, have actually not conducted themselves in a way that, you know, will make Rivers State look good. What exactly has gone wrong, and how do you think this will be corrected? You know, that politics will be played in such a way that it's really about the people.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
You have a right to. Go ahead.
While I can sit here and cite several occasions, the governor has spoken and threatened the electoral personnel and specifically promised them death. I can cite the occasions. I can cite the occasions he has stood on the soapbox and threatened INEC, threatened the chairman, called them names, called the IG names, called the commissioner names, called his commanders names. I can cite that. And so we know where all of this is coming from. And we beg them to sheath their sword and allow peace to reign. Rivers people have died enough. Not just Rivers people, residents of Rivers State have died and suffered enough.
All right,
we
Chris.
Want peace.
Yeah, all right, Chris. We had the Commissioner for Information from Rivers State on the program earlier, about a few days ago, Dr. Tam George, and he brought up lots of allegations against your party as to them being responsible for several things. I'd like my producers to play one of such for us to hear, and then you get to have a perspective and react to what he said about this.
We are suggesting, that let people come and investigate those who are responsible for the burning of that place. When I went with the governor to the scene, to the structure that was burned, what he said was very significant. He said, look, first of all, we will rebuild this place from Monday, from today. We will rebuild this place from Monday. Pending the rebuilding of the place, we are going to give you an alternative building. We will give INEC an alternative building to use to conduct the elections. Now, if the governor was responsible, if the PDP was responsible, why would you burn down a building and then rebuild it and then give an alternative structure? So the point is that if you go to Rivers State now, the PDP candidates are campaigning frenetically everywhere, in every local government. Until I left Port Harcourt last night, the only party that isn't campaigning at all is the other party, the APC.
All right, Chris, you just heard the commissioner there talking about talking about the burning of INEC office in Kana local government, and from everything he said that the other party could have been responsible for the burning down of the INEC office and all of that. What do you have to say about that?
Well, first and foremost, Dr. Austin George is doing his job. And if I were in his shoes, I would probably say the same thing. But the truth of the matter remains that when you take a cursory look at the bombing of INEC office and the events that led to the bombing, less than 2 hours, the governor was on a soapbox at Okehi local government area, and he was calling the Inspector General of Police names, threatening the APC, threatening the candidates, threatening everybody. And less than 12 hours, or maybe 24 hours, that building went up in flames. But that is not enough. If you take your mind back, those were the same incendiary language from the governor that few days later led to the burning of the campaign office of Senator Magnus Abe in December. On that occasion, before the rerun of March 19, the governor had clearly, with a microphone, announced at a burial that their followers must ensure that, and indeed Ogoni people, must stop Senator Magnus Abe by all means. A few days after, his campaign office in Bori was burnt. And so, when you look at the entire thing, the imprint of this violence acting on INEC facility and that which happened to Senator Abe's campaign office prior to March 19 rerun share similarities and can only come from the same source. And so the question is, did Senator Magnus Abe bomb his own office? Why is it happening in Bori? Why is it like the governor is the one on the ballot, the senatorial ticket in Rivers Southeast? Why is Olaka Wogu, the PDP candidate, not campaigning? Have we said that when we even talk about the APC not being ready for the election, has Olaka Wogu campaigned? Or is the APC saying that Olaka is not ready for the election? So it's not there. The APC is ready for the election. Our candidates we are campaigning. In fact, since the postponement has come, our people we are ready for the election.
All right, let me come in here. Let's even talk about
this announcement came in yesterday.
Yeah. Yes, Chris Finebone. Let's talk about the controversies, surrounding this particular rerun election that's slated for July the 30th. Yes, on weekend, the governor of Rivers State claims or alleges that there was a meeting, a secret meeting between the INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu and, of course, that he met with the APC chairman in the state. And, of course, that Davis Ikania and Senator Magnus Abe were actually at this meeting on Wednesday last week. You want to clarify for our viewers exactly what this meeting was about? Of course, we have heard from the APC that, this is routine. And would like to know if you know, there was such a meeting too with PDP candidates.
Well, from the point of view of the APC, the meeting was held, but it wasn't exactly what the governor talked about. He talked about a secret meeting between the leadership of our party and the leadership of INEC. And we said there was no such secret meeting. The meeting Senator Magnus Abe referred to that held was a normal routine meeting, which INEC is at liberty to hold with all stakeholders, not just the candidates. And so if he has come out to clarify that such a meeting took place, it does not qualify to be a secret meeting for which the governor was, the one he was alluding to, or even expressed. So no such secret meeting took place. We continue to hold our ground. And if there was a meeting for which Senator Magnus Abe has come to clarify, it's a mere routine meeting which anybody walks into INEC and holds and goes away. So it wasn't in any way, it doesn't bear semblance to what the governor tried to pass to the people.
All right, but
Chris, the anger against INEC.
Yeah, but Chris, in a situation where INEC is conducting an election and is supposed to be seen as a neutral umpire, if any reason, maybe a week or prior to the election, there's a meeting it is holding with a certain candidate, wouldn't the other side feel uncomfortable with that kind of a scenario, whatever the kind of meeting is?
I want to think. I don't know about that meeting, but I want to believe what our leaders have said, that they wrote and applied for a routine meeting. I want to believe and take that, and that is the much I can say about that. But if I also believe that any major stakeholder, whether before, close to, or during an election, could seek audience with the leadership of the umpire. I don't see anything wrong with that. But probably what would be wrong is if you go and hold a secret meeting, which that wasn't.
Are you aware of any such meeting with the PDP candidates? That's on the one side. But the PDP is really alleging that all of this violence that we've been seeing in Rivers State in the run-up to this rerun election that's now been cancelled only a ploy to actually divert attention and, be able to rig this election. What's your take on that? How do you react to that?
The governor of Rivers State is the one in charge of security of lives. He should be the one in charge of security of lives and property. And he cannot shirk that responsibility by beginning to divert attention to the APC or any other party or any other individual or any other stakeholder. He has to rise up to the occasion and know that the most important responsibility of any government is that of safety of life and property. And so he has to stand up to it. If he has nowhere to look up to, he can look up to when Right Honorable Chipike Rotimi Amechi was the governor of this state. All of these hoodlums were chased away off the streets of Port Harcourt. You can make calls, private calls to your people who lived in Port Harcourt. But a situation where a major stakeholder in the polity begins to think that he needs the help of hoodlums and he goes to activate cells of cultists and all that to win an election. Anybody, any right-thinking person should know that it will be difficult, it will be easy to use those guys to win elections, but very difficult to dissuade them from continuing with violence. So it's all on the table of the governor and not the APC. There's no point diverting attention. Amechi, when he was governor here, never talked about his predecessor or any other stakeholder. Rather, he confronted the problem head on and found a solution to it. Residents of Port Harcourt are witnesses. The people of Rivers State are witnesses.
All right, Chris, there were allegations from when we had the commissioner earlier on the program in days ago. There were allegations he brought forth that former Governor Rotimi Amechi floods the state with soldiers, security agencies, thereby intimidating people and threatening all sorts of threatening people generally. What's your take? What's your take on that?
Ordinarily, that does not merit a response. But let me say, the former governor of Rivers State, Amechi, is a minister of the Federal Republic, no doubt, but he's not the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And so, I don't know where anybody accusing him of flooding Rivers State with military men, where he's coming from. It doesn't really merit a response.
Now, before this particular postponement of the July 30 election, INEC did say that it would only conduct, suspended elections if the political gladiators on both sides and their supporters eschew violence and, ensure peace and all of that. So what is the way forward? What will the APC be doing to give confidence not only to INEC, but of course to the people who matter the most, the people themselves, the electorate, who are the ones actually at the receiving end of all of this violence? What does the APC plan to put in place, and what do you advise for the PDP to do?
Well, the leadership of the APC will continue to do what they are doing. And what they are doing is using moderate language, showing good example and good body language. And I will challenge the media to keep their watch on us and point out or hold us to account at every turn whenever our leaders or any of our leaders indulges in use of languages that can incite. Same way the media should keep a watch on the other party. I'm sure if they tone down their rhetorics and accept responsibility that as leaders they don't need to incite their people, people don't need to kill for power. I believe that it's easy for the followership to beat themselves into line.
All right, Chris Feinbone, APC spokesperson, Rivers State, thank you for talking to us on TVC Breakfast.